A very good morning to all of you and welcome to the session, the Hindu editorial analysis for proficiency in English. As usual, let us start with the not with the snippets. Today, front page of the Hindu paper, there's nothing to learn as such. Almost all the words are familiar words, easy words. So, based on that, today we are going to start with the editorial straight away. And when you watch or listen to whatever I'm going to say, this is the enrichment. You will be able to consolidate your grammar knowledge, improve your vocabulary, editorial vocabulary, or effective vocabulary. And when you work on the mock test, mini mock, you will get an idea about the questions based on the exam topics. Let us go to editorial vocabulary. Today's editorial is all about pharmaceutical industry and the problems associated with the pharmaceutical industry. Any editorial that deals with a particular industry, particular sector, broad outline, some incident must have triggered the newspaper to write an article or an editorial based on that incident and some information about that particular incident, background information. Then pharmaceutical industry, what are the rules and regulations, whether they're being followed or not, compliance is there or not, and if not, what has to be done, and in which direction the industry has to go. There's a broad outline. We have a few words. Many words are important but familiar words. Only three words are new words, and they also come under technical words. The very first one, excipient. This is not a regular term. We don't use in everyday English. It goes more with a pharmaceutical industry. What does it mean? Part of speech, noun. Technical term in pharmacy, as I said. A substance added to a drug formulation to help deliver the active ingredient. It has no medicinal effect itself. Excipient has no medicinal impact as such, but it is used with the actual ingredient, actual drug, and it helps in delivering the actual drug. Word forms, excipients, plural form. Example, the contaminated batch. Contaminated means what? Purity got affected. There are two words you have to recollect, contamination and also adulteration. There's a subtle difference between the two. Contamination goes more with a particular substance becoming impure. Adulteration, more like doing intentionally. Water is added to milk, then we don't say contaminated. We use the word adulteration. That difference you have to know. Here, the contaminated batch was manufactured using non-pharmacopoeial grade propylene glycol as an excipient. Propylene glycol as an excipient. Word collocations, pharmaceutical excipient, non-active excipient. Word usage, used specifically in pharmaceutical manufacturing, indicates a carrier or base substance like sugar, starch, or glycol mixed with the main drug. It is mixed with the main drug and it is usually sugar, starch, any of these. Synonyms, filler, inactive substance, vehicle, additive. Antonyms, active ingredient, main compound. Second word also, yesterday we got words like rivulet, inlet, stream, creek. Brook also means a stream as a noun. As a verb, a different meaning altogether. Part of speech, verb, formal English, also a noun. As a noun, it means a stream. But as a verb, to tolerate or allow something, often something unpleasant. We are not going to brook any illegal activities. Means what? We are not going to tolerate any illegal activities. Word forms, brooks, brooked, brooking. Very good. Kranti Kumar, and also spurious liquor. Liquor, we use the word spurious, adulterated, spurious liquor. And it goes more with country liquor or Iraq. Noun form meaning small stream is different in sense, entirely different meaning. Example, the government will not brook any shoddiness or violations that endanger lives. Shoddiness is the next word, and endanger we have got many a time. It goes with wildlife, endangered species, endangered, genus. Also, the next word is extinct. Word collocations: brook no delay, brook no dissent. Dissent means opposition. Brook no interference, brook no compromise, brook no shoddiness. Word usage: used in formal or literary context, typically with no meaning, not tolerate at all. It is used with the word no because it means we are not going to tolerate, not going to tolerate. It goes with a negative sentence. Synonyms: tolerate, endure, permit. Antonyms: reject, forbid, prohibit, disallow. The next one, I think we got this yesterday. I forgot to change. I'm sorry. The word here, shoddiness, part of speech, noun. We have got this for the first time, I suppose. Part of speech, noun, meaning the quality of being badly made or done, poor quality or inferiority. Shoddiness means not of the good, not of good quality, not of good standard. Substandard, you can say. Word forms is shoddy, shoddily, shoddiness. All the word forms are important. Example: the government must not brook any shoddiness in the manufacturing process. Must not brook means must not tolerate any shoddiness in the manufacturing process. Word collocation: manufacturing shoddiness, shoddiness of work, shoddy goods, shoddy standards, shoddy workmanship. Word usage: used in critical and evaluative context to describe inferior quality, lack of care, or moral laxity. Laxity also means something like being lenient, not being stringent, not being strict. Synonyms: inferiority, carelessness, negligence, poor quality. Antonyms: excellence, quality, precision, thoroughness. Those are the words, only three words, but when I go through the editorial, there are some more words that we have got many a time. Now I'm sure our students know those words. Let us see how it starts. Ensuring compliance. All our students know comply with means what? Abide by and follow, stick to, adhere to. It takes a preposition with as a verb, comply with. What is the noun form? Compliance. On the Indian pharmaceutical sector, what is the main idea? Firms that make poor quality drugs must face consequences. Firms or companies that make poor quality drugs, they must face consequences. Must, two functions. Used to express a personal obligation, obligation imposed by the writer or the editorial, and second one to convey the idea that something is compulsory. This is the main idea about the pharmaceutical companies, drug manufacturing companies. Atmanirbhar Bharat is an aspirational ideal. Ideal means a perfect, ideal job, ideal couple. Ideal in this context, you can take it as a goal, inspirational or aspirational goal, well worth pursuing. Pursue means to chase, but it has a positive connotation. You have to pursue your dreams. What does it mean? You have to chase your dreams and make them reality. Yes, you have to recollect words like ideal, idle, idle. Idle, don't idle away your time. Means what? Don't waste your time. Idol of Lord Ganesh goes with religion. Idol of Goddess Saraswati. Sustained, but not without a sustained quality control framework in place. Sustain, it has many meanings. One meaning, maintain. I could not sustain their interest for more than 30 minutes. I could not hold their interest, maintain their interest. But sustainable goals means what? Using the resources wisely, thinking of the future generations. We use sustainable. And here, sustained quality control framework in place. There's a good goal, self sufficiency, and it works out if there's a proper framework for implementation. Only then it works. That's a prerequisite. What is the meaning of prerequisite? You need to have something in advance, prerequisite. Time and again, an important phrase you have to remember. Time and again, there have been serious threats. Here, threats, plural, based on that, there have been. Imagine threat, there has been. There also you have to be careful. There have been serious threats to the goal of making in India, particularly in the pharmaceutical sector. A particular sector based on the goal, what is it? Make in India. There are certain threats to a particular sector. Which sector is that? Pharmaceutical sector. The issue of quality of cough syrups has repeatedly been raised. Adverb has been raised. They immediately have to think which tense and whether active voice or passive voice. It is in present perfect passive voice. They have raised the issue, active voice. The issue has been raised by them, passive voice. The issue of quality of cough syrups has repeatedly been raised, and India, with great ambitions in the global pharmaceutical sector, has often been short of. Has been short of. This is again present perfect, but not in passive voice, it is in active voice. He has been our student, she has been our professor, and here it is in present perfect active voice. There is a problem with this. The issue of quality of cough syrups has repeatedly been raised, and India, with great ambitions in the global pharmaceutical sector, has often been short of expected standards, short of what is required to build a robust and trustworthy industry. To build a robust and trustworthy industry, globally speaking, we need to maintain certain standards. We need to maintain certain quality. That is missing. The sentence talks about that. Short of means not up to the expected level. Recently, the Union Health Ministry sought strict drug compliance. Seek, sought. You all know that. Job seekers. Robust means a strong, vigorous, very good. Here, drug compliance from all Indian drug manufacturers. Health Ministry has sought strict compliance from whom? From the drug manufacturing companies. Indian drug manufacturers, in line with, an important phrase, in line with, in accordance with, following a particular pattern, in line with the revised Schedule M norms for pharmaceutical products in India. They wanted the manufacturing units, firms that manufacture drugs, to follow the new norms. Norms means standards or rules. The revised Schedule M norms for pharmaceutical products in India. Why did they do it? Recently, they have revised. There should be some reason behind. Next sentence talks about the reason behind. This came after a report from the Tamil Nadu Drugs Control Department found above permissible limits of diethylene glycol (DEG) in samples of cold drip, a cough syrup being manufactured by a private company. So why did this happen? Revised norms or revised standards. Something has been found. Who has found? This came after a report from the Tamil Nadu Drugs Control Department found above permissible limits of diethylene glycol (DEG) in samples of cold drip, a cough syrup being manufactured by a private company. Here, a particular private company is manufacturing. Is manufacturing, active voice. Something is being manufactured, present continuous, passive voice. They found beyond the permissible limits, then it is not acceptable. The tests were initiated. They initiated the test, past tense active voice. The tests were initiated, past tense passive voice. The tests were initiated after cough syrup was suspected to be behind the recent deaths of at least 16 children in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. The tests were initiated. Why did they initiate the test? Something happened in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. What exactly happened? A particular doctor prescribed a particular cough syrup, and children, after consuming that particular cough syrup, they died. And how many of them? 16 died. Based on that, they initiated some sort of investigation, or they wanted to find out what exactly that particular cough syrup, the content, the composition of that particular cough syrup. Then they found this. The tests were initiated after cough syrup was suspected to be behind the recent deaths of at least 16 children in Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. And when you see the word cough, you have to recollect one important rule. What is that? Usually people say, I have fever, I have cold. That is not correct. Before fever, cold, cough, we should use the indefinite article a. I have a fever, I have a cold, I have a cough. That you have to recollect. Strangely, while the health ministry rule out is a phrasal verb, very important, means something is impossible, not going to happen. A typical example used at the workplace, the meeting between the management and the union members is ruled out, means what? Not going to happen. Health ministry ruled out the presence of DEG in initial tests conducted on samples from the two states. It was detected in one of the batches lifted by Tamil Nadu within the state. Initial reports they did not detect, but later they detected. That is strange, according to the editorial. The state's drugs control department also recorded several non-compliance factors. Not only DEG, other factors also, they made a note of other factors. Also recorded several non-compliance factors in the good manufacturing practices and good laboratory practices of the drugs rules. Means those firms did not follow the rules contained in these things, and non-compliance comes under peculiar, strange, bizarre, all the words you have to recollect. At the manufacturing facility, its report mentioned that the contaminated batch was manufactured, past tense, passive voice, using non-pharmacopoeial grade propylene glycol as an excipient. They have used this particular thing, which is not pharmacopoeial, non-pharmacopoeial, and they have used this one. That must have contaminated the actual drug. It mentioned that this might have contaminated, an important pattern that goes with helping verbs. What is the use of might have plus verb past participle form? It is used to express a past possibility which is a guess. We are not sure. Might have contaminated means you are talking about a past possibility, you are not sure about it, you are trying to guess a past possibility which is a guess. Might have contaminated the drug with a DEG and ethylene glycol, known nephrotoxic substances. Nephrons, they go with nervous system, and toxic means harmful. Toxic fumes, harmful fumes. Reasons behind. The Central Drug Standard Control Organization has recommended cancellation of the firm's manufacturing license. Based on what they found, they wanted to take action, immediate action. They have cancelled the license of that particular firm. Meanwhile, what happened? A doctor who reportedly recommended the cough syrup to many of the children who died in Madhya Pradesh was arrested. The doctor was arrested. Who is this doctor? He is the one who prescribed the cough syrup. Because he prescribed, and based on that, children in Madhya Pradesh died, he was arrested. Was arrested, again, past tense, passive voice. While these measures are good to address the situation in the instant case, what the Indian state must do is have a zero threshold for poor quality drugs. This is like reactive. After a particular incident, they have reacted. But the editorial says, in a way it is good, but what is required, they have to be proactive. There is a saying in English, what is it? Prevention is better than cure. While these measures are good to address the situation in the instant case, what the Indian state must do is have a zero threshold for poor quality drugs. Means poor quality drugs are not at all acceptable. Threshold means the limit. The limit. Beyond that, not acceptable. Hawk-like monitoring. There's one idiom, hawk-eyed. Have you heard of that any time? Nephrons also, I'm sorry, nephrons go with kidneys. I said neurons go with nervous system. Thank you, Uday Kumar. I appreciate that. I would like to reiterate neurons go with nervous system, nephrons go with kidneys. Hawk eyed, one idiom. Yes, Pravalika. Means someone is very sharp. We say hawk eyed. Hawk like monitoring is necessary and action when violations are detected. Monitoring is necessary, one thing. Second, immediate action has to be taken. That is also a must, indispensable. It is criminal to act only when deaths have occurred. This is a very strong statement from the editorial. What is it? It is criminal to act only when deaths occurred. Deaths have occurred. What does it mean? The editorial is telling if authorities act after the deaths, it is not acceptable. It amounts to criminal, something like criminal activity. It is criminal. That's a very strong word in my opinion. It is criminal to act only when deaths have occurred. That is indefensible. Means cannot be justified. Cannot be justified. A framework of proven good laboratory practices already exists. There is a framework, good laboratory practices. It already exists. And here you have to be alert. Practices, noun, CES, verb, SES, you have to recollect. What is needed is seriousness in handling every such reported violation, along with regular surprise inspections of drug batches, with appropriate action taken for every violation. All these are remedies, suggestions from the editorial. What is required? They have to monitor regularly. Whenever they come across violations, strict action has to be taken. Obviously, that's what one has to say. How does it end? It is important to send a message down the assembly line that the government will not brook any shoddiness, will not tolerate any poor quality drugs of poor quality or violations that endanger the lives of people. Government is not going to tolerate when it comes to drugs, poor quality drugs. Government is not going to tolerate, and because what is the reason behind? We can't afford to endanger the lives of the people. Lives of people we can't endanger. Endanger means what? Threaten, jeopardize. These words you have to recollect. That's all about today's editorial. Try to answer these questions based on listening skill as well as comprehension skill. Yes, Kranti Kumar, endangered species. What is the central theme of the passage? India's ambition to become a self-reliant nation in drug manufacturing, the urgent need for strict quality control and accountability in India's pharmaceutical industry. Obviously, it's all about quality control, monitoring, and something like being proactive. B is the answer. Which of the following incidents triggered the health ministry's call for strict compliance? A particular incident triggered and it resulted in revised norms and also strict compliance. Which incident? Detection of poor quality generic drugs in exports? No. Deaths of several children linked to a contaminated cough syrup. Nothing to do with pharmaceutical workers, nothing to do with exports and rural markets. Totally irrelevant. Answer is B. 16 children died in two states, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. Go to question number 3. The phrase Atmanirbhar Bharat is an aspirational ideal well worth pursuing. Implies that. What does it imply, this particular phrase, make in India? What do you say? The same thing in English, make in India. So what does it imply? Idea of self-reliance is impractical. It talks about self-reliance, but you cannot say impractical. The goal of self-reliance must not compromise on product quality. No doubt it is good to have an aspirational ideal like make in India, but it should not compromise on quality. No second thoughts about that. Answer is B. Question number 4. According to the passage, which of the following substances caused contamination in the cough syrup? Cough syrup got contaminated, because of that 16 children died. And which substance has caused cough syrup's contamination? Propylene glycol of pharmacopoeial grade, not pharmacopoeial, it is non-pharmacopoeial. Non-pharmacopoeial grade propylene glycol containing DEG and ethylene glycol. Clearly mentioned, though it's a technical, all these are technical terms, easy to answer because based on explicit information. Good, you guys got it right. Which of the following statements best captures the author's tone in the passage? What is the tone of the passage? Nothing optimistic, 16 children died, and sarcastic will not be in this context. Neutral, no point in writing. Emotional and persuasive, not at all. So, what is the answer here? Critical and cautionary. Critical and cautionary, yes, C. Let us work on mini mocks. Today the questions are quite challenging. And if you get all the 5 correct, you are outstanding. But in my opinion, they are quite challenging. Try to, here you have a sentence not divided. There's a new model, new pattern. And you have to spot the error. Error or no error. But you have to read meticulously. No one has answered. Researchers are exploring, present continuous, these conditions, genetic, molecular, and environmental determinants, paving the way for early diagnosis and targeted interventions. Here, everything is in plural. Based on that, you cannot talk about early diagnosis. Diagnosis is singular. We have to use a plural form. So, what is the plural form of that? Diagnosis, not SIS, SES. There is an error. SIS singular, like crisis, crisis. In this context, we have to use a noun in the plural form. And what is the spelling? SES, not SIS. SIS singular, SES plural. Answer is only one error, that one. Question number 2. Pillar Sakaguchi figured that an additional mechanism must operate in the regulating self-reactive cells outside the thymus. This is quite difficult because it goes with a particular science-related context. And how to deal with a question like this? How many similar words, synonyms, boundary, periphery, margin, they all mean the same. Nucleus inside, vicinity, nearby. So we have 3 synonyms and they all mean the same. But based, it talks about pharmaceutical sector, pharmaceutical industry. Based on the pharmaceutical industry, word combinations, collocations, we use a word, though all the 3 mean the same, we use the word periphery. What is the right word here? B is the answer. That is very difficult. Not at all easy. First, you have to know 3 synonyms are there, then eliminate C, D. Of the 3 synonyms, which one goes with the pharmaceutical industry? Not pharmaceutical, it goes with science, molecular biology, or cell related. B is the answer, periphery. That is very, very difficult in my opinion. Word usage, choose a correct sentence using the word collapse appropriately. In which sentence the word collapse has been used appropriately? The immune collapse have resulted. Immune collapse is singular. We cannot use have, plural verb. The immune collapse results from loss of regulatory mechanisms. This seems okay because the subject is third person singular, sentence is in present tense affirmative form. We should add S or ES to the verb. Hold that one. The immune collapsed. That doesn't make any sense. The immune collapse were. You cannot use a plural verb. So what is the answer? Very good. You guys got it right. Question number 3, B is the answer. It results from some reason. Question number 4, again, error location. Read, see if there's an error. If not, no error. Fourth one, you have to answer the fourth one. Error location. No division. Read the complete sentence. See if there's an error. If not, no error. That Branco and Ramsdale conducted the work within industry. This is the subject. Considered third person singular. It's a clause. Subject can be a word, subject can be a phrase, subject can be a clause. And underscore, because sentence is in present tense affirmative, subject is third person singular, we cannot use underscore. We have to add S to the verb. Underscores. What is the right word here? Underscores, not underscore. It, imagine something. It underscore or it underscores. What will you say? It underscores, not past. We have to use present. Underscores how private sector research can yield significant discoveries. As I said, today's questions are not easy. Manisha has got it right. Go to question number 5. This is also very difficult. The laureate's work has redefined the immune system, transforming it from an on-off apparatus to a ecosystem of activation and restraint. Please remember English, when it comes to English, you cannot have fixed ideas. Based on the context, you have to use the appropriate word. Many students may think, based on the word ecosystem, we have got the typical combination fragile ecosystem. That is one combination, but you cannot use in this context. Context matters a lot. Don't be hasty. It talks about ecosystem of what? Activation and restraint. Something is happening there. When something is happening regularly, not transient, static, not correct. Transient, not correct. Fragile, not relevant here. Reactive, no. So what is it? Dynamic. Very good. Who is this? Sukesh. Wonderful. And who else? Pravalika also. And Kavya. That is highly appreciable. Manisha. C is the answer. Dynamic system because of activation and restraint. How many of you have got all the 5 correct? Today, if let us say you have got 5 out of 5, 2 based on error location, 2 based on pillars, 1 based on correct word usage. 5 out of 5 outstanding in my opinion. Not at all easy. Has anyone got all the 5 correct? Please respond. Then I will say today is your day. You have to celebrate. That's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys tomorrow.